Hey friends, it's the Lug Nut Guru. Happy Monday to you. Hope you had a great weekend. You got rested up. You're ready to go out there and chase all your goals, make all your dreams come true. Hey, you know, if you're in a position in your business or the company you work for where you have to hire, hiring is a tough gig these days. It's really hard. I mean, with the internet, these candidates, they can find the best and smoothest answers out there. They can go look at your LinkedIn profile and what your company's doing, and they could sound really interested in what you got going on, or throw some flattery at you based on your LinkedIn profile. And then you hire them, and 2 weeks later, you got a dud on your hands. And so I know how difficult it can be. I've hired hundreds of people throughout my career. And I wanted to share with you one question I found that really cuts to the quick of who you're hiring. And that question is placed at the end of the interview. Run through your normal interview process with the candidates. Ask them the questions you genuinely want to know the answers to. Ask them if they have any questions of you. And at the very end, when the candidates kind of let their guard down because they think that plane is landing and that interview's over, because you want them a little relaxed when you ask it. You just kind of wind it up with, hey, I think that's it, you know. You don't have anything more for me. I think I'm good with you too. But hey, you know what? I do have one more question for you. Now, use your imagination. And you know what a stretch limousine looks like, right? And you let the candidate answer, yeah, they know what a stretch limousine looks like. And then you ask them, how many tennis balls do you think you could fit in a stretch limousine? And then you just be quiet, and you just smile, and you just make eye contact, and you watch them. You're going to learn a lot about that person if you'll be silent. You're going to see how they perform under pressure, because trust me, they weren't ready for that question. They weren't. And if they were, you might want to hire them because they really did their homework. But they're generally not ready for it, so they're under pressure, and you're going to see how they handle pressure. You're going to see how they think outside of the box. You're going to see how they process problems and how they problem solve. And you're going to learn a lot about that person. I've used that question for quite a few years. And, you know, I want to share with you the two extremes I've gotten in answers. One was a guy that the GM of the company I worked for had interviewed, and he said, man, Rob, this guy is great. He's the best. He's such a great salesman and blah, blah, blah. And I got on the phone with him, and I was kind of thinking the same thing. I'm like, man, this guy's got all the right answers. He knows exactly what to say. His timing is on, And then I went through the interview, and I almost wasn't going to ask him the question, but I got to the very end, and I thought, I got to ask him. And I asked him, I said, hey, dude, you know what a stretch limousine looks like, right? And he says, yeah. And I said, how many tennis balls do you think you could put in that stretch limousine? And this was on a phone interview. This wasn't even face-to-face, so I couldn't see his body language. And you know what he said to me? Like, he didn't even hesitate. He said, I don't know. And I told him, I said, that's the only wrong answer. He said, what do you mean? And I said, it's the only wrong answer. You just told me, you just shared with me that you're not willing to problem solve, that you're not even willing to take a chance to solve the problem. You don't even want to ask questions to try to solve the problem. You just want to, I don't know. And that's the person that's going to tell you, that's not my job. That's not my job. It's time for me to go home. That's who that is, the I don't know person. That's the only wrong answer to that question. There's no right numerical, there's no number that's right. I don't know how many tennis balls you can put in a stretch limousine, and I've asked hundreds of people. And I'll tell you the best answer I ever got. It's from a young guy, hungry. He wanted to be a sales professional, and he had been selling, and I asked him the question, and he squirmed for just a second. And then he looked at me and he said, can I use the trunk? And I said, yeah, you can use the trunk, right? Because now he's qualifying it. What can I do here? He said, can I take the seats out? I said, yeah, you can take the seats out. Continuing to qualify the question I asked him. And then he said, can I use a compress? Because I'll smash those tennis balls flat and I can put a bunch of them in the car. And now I'm going, man, this kid can problem solve too. And then he's like getting excited and he goes, wait a minute, can I burn them? Can I just burn them? Because if I can turn them to ashes, I could put million tennis balls in the limousine. And I said, stop, brother, stop. We're good, man. We're good. And I wanted to hire him, but you know what? I didn't. Because the sales position I was offering wasn't going to fulfill him in his career. And I told him that. And I knew it based on his answer. So I did him a favor, and I did the company a favor by not hiring him. So he could move on to something that was going to be big enough for him, because what I was offering wasn't going to be big enough for him. Hey man, if this question that I've shared with you, this interview question, if this helps you, if you find value in it, would you give us a like, give us a share, maybe follow us? Hey, good luck in your hiring out there. Have a great week, and we'll see you at the top.